Hey guys, what it is yo girl Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Drama Life Prison Wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping, because you got to hold your breath for justice, to see justice before all face to Blake. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, guys, I'm coming through today, November the 5th, 2025. Girl, so wasn't quite sure what to record. So I said, let me go back to my notes and my little quick jot downs of topics. And I thought about one that came to mind was, you heard that hope deferred makes the heart sick, right? Desire fulfilled becomes a tree of life, right? In my opening, my intro, I say I'm hoping to see justice before it all fades to black, right? And the thing is that hoping, even though I'm saying it sarcastically, it really is how I feel down in my heart. It goes from knowing, because when my husband was first wrongfully incarcerated in 2002, I knew he would be released from that wrongful conviction because it was just a mistake. This is not the justice system. There's no way an innocent person would be incarcerated in our justice system. We have the best, one of the best justice systems, right? So there is no way that an innocent person will be found guilty. And perchance they are found guilty, it has to be a mistake, because it is humans that are running this system. But if you bring the discrepancy to the court, they would make it right, because this is a completely just system, conducive of justice. Allegedly. That is how I felt in my heart. That is how my husband felt. That is why he was willing to put his life in the hands of 12 jurors, right? He believed in this system and had that hope, right? Now that we have went through all the steps, all the things, right? It's the initial shock of being arrested. No. Let's go back a little bit more. Backstory. 2001, the entire if you ask me the best years of my life, it will always be 2001, and it will always be 1995. 1995 has a whole different remembrance around it. Like everything, best year of my life, those 2 years, right? But 2001 was also the entire worst year, one of the worst years. Another worst year is 2016, when my mother passed from negligence from an outpatient surgery, allegedly. Those 2 years, because 2001, let's back up, the best year, because me and my soulmate, my other half, already so much in love. I could not believe that I truly found love. I found a lot of things that were not love, but to truly find love with your friend, we were friends first. And then with your best friend, to have a baby and have so much love between two people. All of those crazy things that people go through, the husband, well, father acting up. No, that was not Marcello. He was more overjoyed almost than I was. I liken him to when you seen Michael Jackson when he held blanket over the banister and he was so excited to show everybody his baby, and he took the baby from his significant other, right, and ran to show the baby. Marcello Jackson was just like that, allegedly. I couldn't even get our daughter. He was that in love with her, in love with me. I'm in love with him. When we were sitting on that couch together, holding our baby together, it was such a burning, like literally, I can't even describe this feeling because it was just so much love, but it was love to the point where it felt like it burned inside, like you couldn't contain it, you can't hold it. The best year of my life. It became the worst year of my life. 2 months after getting off of bed rest, my body hasn't even healed yet. My husband goes out one day and never comes back home. All those hopes and dreams, and we planned everything. And that rhymed, and I wasn't trying. We planned her first step, first word. We planned her prom. We had already planned when she was in the womb. We sat and talked about her going to prom, her graduation, her high school graduate. Her wedding day. We talked about these things. And 2 months after, it became the worst year of my life, one of the worst years, because my husband left and never came back home. He was wrongfully arrested, age 19 years old, taken from a 2-month-old. So you're in shock, like, this was literally a fairy tale ending in my early 20s, right? And now it is the nightmare of nightmares. Like, just like that, like in an instant. Like, how more can the rug be pulled from under your feet? So it's the shock of being arrested. But it's the knowing, the hope in this justice system that though you may have wrongfully arrested him, but because you have no evidence, and if the glove does not fit, you must acquit. Like literally, like you cannot convict somebody without evidence, and you cannot convict them unless it is beyond a reasonable doubt. And it is quite unreasonable to convict somebody of a weapon, without DNA, without fingerprints, without eyewitnesses. It is very unreasonable to convict somebody without surveillance cameras. It is very unreasonable. So there is no way in this justice system that he can be found guilty. Now, here's the hope deferred part. He gets out on bond. Very difficult. Bond for BLK men is 3 to 4 times higher just for being BLK. That's not playing victim. That's just telling you true stats, right? Okay, so you get a discount for not being BLK to get out on bond. Allegedly, right? He comes home. We're restored. We are restored. We have the time together again as husband, wife, and baby. All we have to do is get through trial, and trial is where everything is going to come out. So it's still that hope. That hope is still there. All right. He loses trial. How? How did he lose trial? They have nothing. Your alleged victims are conflicting. All you have is their testimony. That is all they have, their testimony, which they say an eyewitness is better than evidence, right? But now studying all the wrongful convictions I have studied, allegedly eyewitnesses is not good. It's one of the leading causes. Eyewitness misidentification is one of the leading causes of wrongful convictions, alongside prosecutorial misconduct. They actually can go hand in hand. It could be one or the other that leads to your wrongful conviction, or they can be entangled into both. I honestly, in Marcello's case, believe it was both. But all they have is two eyewitnesses, which they made the alleged victims eyewitnesses. There's no other actual eyewitnesses that they brought forward. Now, had this really truly happened, this is a fabricated crime against my husband, allegedly made up, right? But had it actually happened, there would have been many witnesses, eyewitnesses. There would have been many accounts to this. And I have the proof that there had to, if it happened, in fact, it had to have been many, many witnesses. So where are those eyewitnesses? Allegedly. So all you have is the alleged victims. So the hope is still there because they're going through trial, conflicting one another. You have 3 officers that stand on the witness stand. They have them as witnesses as well, even though they were not there at the time. Well, one was not present. She was on the street and came in for backup. 2 were ride-alongs together. They were the only ones to actually witness. I wish back then, like a lot of the things they have now, like these dash cams and body cams, had we had that, you actually can prove this case doesn't hold water without all of that. But to have that hard evidence that they have nowadays, and I know they try to, even though you have that hard undisputable evidence, they still try to tell you, no, that's not what you're seeing. Don't believe your eyes. You're not seeing that, right? But it's still the hope, because you got 3 officers conflicting one another. You got 2 alleged victims. So you got 5 different testimonies, none lining up. And then if you add Marcello's testimony, you got 6. But the only one that makes sense is Marcello's testimony. The only one that any amount of evidence you have aligns with is Marcello Jackson's testimony. So it's still hope. You lose trial. there's still hope because there is a check and balance system, right, in our fair justice system, allegedly. If you feel that you've been convicted wrongfully, you can appeal. Still hope. There's still hope. Not knowing, but from the illusion I've been sold, allegedly, and many of us were sold, was that you can appeal. Not knowing not everybody gets an appeal. And many times the higher court just sides with the lower court without hearing your motion. They prejudge your motion and say that it would not change the outcome had any of the things that you brought forward were mentioned. It would not have changed the outcome. How do you know it would not change the outcome? Because it would change. The more pieces you add, the more things that you add into the case. If you, first of all, they extracted the exculpatory evidence allegedly in my husband Marcello Jackson's case, right? You extracted the exculpatory evidence and you only presented anything that was inculpatory. Yes, baby. At 44, I know all of this. At 20, I didn't know what was happening. We were deer in headlights. So you extracted all exculpatory evidence, right? So had you placed that exculpatory evidence back into the case and the jury heard the and seen the exculpatory evidence, would they still have returned a guilty verdict in the highest? So it definitely would change the verdict. But without looking into that, the higher court just went along with what the lower court said. Another reason is because hope, if you cannot afford a lawyer will be provided to you. Appeal lawyer, you think you can appeal with a public defender? Allegedly, that's the whole reason why the case got lost in the first place. Appeal public defender told us we can't do nothing. We have no funds, nothing. He didn't even look into the case. He didn't see the case. He didn't do nothing but allowed me to borrow the transcript, to take it to Kinko's, to copy it, and send it to him so he can study his own case, allegedly. So the hope of appeal deferred. But there's still hope. You can do other motions. What about a 3.850? Habeas corpus. Hope. There's still more hope. Still more checks and balances. You put in the motion denied. Put in the motion denied. You're out of lifelines. There's not much hope, but there's still hope. There's still hope. I gotta find these organizations that fight injustice. As soon as I find the right person, somebody will help us. Somebody that has the right resources or the right connections will help us just as soon as I find this person. So we're about at 2005 now. NAACP, allegedly, we don't fight those type of cases. We only fight civil rights cases, allegedly. Wasn't this in violation of his civil rights? Like, for real? Like, allegedly? He was only convicted because he's BOK. That's not a civil rights violation, allegedly. Okay, there's still hope. ACLU, right? They came back and said, it looks like his case is botched, allegedly. But his case is too old now. There's nothing we can do. We probably could have helped long time ago, even though I was actively seeking and hoping and seeking everybody I could. You're telling me it's too late now. This is about 2011, 12, 13-ish. It's too late now. But you give me a morsel of hope. You tell me that there's nothing we can do, but if you can break his story in the media, get his story big, and then people will basically force the hand of justice. The people together will force the hand of justice with you. Okay, bet that. Hope. I still got some hope. 2006, MySpace comes out. First time social media. I'm on social media and I'm advocating Free Marcello. I didn't have the hashtag back then, but I had Project Reach the World back then. And I just knew once this got big on MySpace, long time ago, he would be home. Facebook. Wow, this social media is much better because this is my family, my friends, my circle that is gonna share the petition, gonna share the videos, the music that I made about this situation. This is perfect. There's more hope. Years and years and years of posting on Facebook. Not even those closest to me will help with this. It's like pulling alligator teeth, asking to sign the petition, to just share it. Maybe you don't want to sign it, but can you share it? Can you like the post? Can you? Okay, I decided in, what year was that? Maybe around 2020. I said, screw it. They've seen my post. They already know what I'm posting before I post. And they have never supported. So what makes me think at this point they will support? But let me head back over to YouTube. Because maybe I'll find a group of strangers on YouTube that will support me. And in 2020, I thought it was the great release. The First Step Act was passed. A lot of federal prisoners were released after decades. And I just knew it was just that hope that soon it would trickle down to state. It always starts with federal first, but then state catches up. That hope. I was hearing prison wives. I was in a lot of prison wives groups. And a lot of prison wives were reporting their husbands were coming home. Oh, yes. Remember the juvenile sentencing, juvenile lifers? Many juvenile lifers at that time was getting their sentences reduced because they sentenced juveniles to way too much, to life at juveniles. They were doing it too much, and it was over sentencing, ridiculously over sentencing. So in 2020, I'm thinking this is the time that I've been waiting for. Surely Now is the time more than ever that Marcello will be released from his wrongful conviction. We're in 2025. You see how long the hope has been delayed for us? It's been delayed for, it was first the hope that he would get home before our daughter was 11 and we can finish raising her as teenagers. Then it was the hope deferred that he would get out before she graduates high school. And then hope was deferred. And then it was maybe he'll get home before she graduates college. And then the hope was deferred. And then it was maybe he'll get home before our granddaughter's born. Hope deferred. Maybe before our grandson is born. Hope deferred. Maybe before our grandson starts walking. He already missed our daughter's first step at first word. He missed our granddaughter's first step at first word. Maybe before our grandson. No, baby, grandson just started walking a couple weeks ago. He missed it. He missed it. Hope deferred. So now we're down to the hope that he can actually get through the last 10 to 12 years of his wrongful conviction. That's the hope now. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. Allegedly. It's your girl Cadillac.